into a pre-market plan going into tomorrow. A little bit of a session recap, and I will be sure to keep this quick, clean, and easy. So coming into today, right? We knew we were still stuck in this range in this channel. You looked at the close watch coming into today's session. We knew SPY was the main focus here, and just beautiful, right? Understanding the importance of supply and demand of the overall market. So, we ended up pushing into this very early in the morning, the first 15-minute candle, and we were off by 10 cents, right? 10 cents, seller stepped in and pushed this thing down. But we know 740, right, coming into this week was a very strong supply area here, and we ended up seeing that this morning with that nice pop and fade. And that's just, why you always want to default here to higher time frame, right? Key levels versus, previous day highs and previous day lows. Hopefully you can see that that's an H. Now, the reason I say that is because, if you come into today like we did and you see that, we only have here the previous day high marked out, you can see, okay, cool, right? I'm looking for continuation higher. We're above the previous day high. We gapped above. The previous day close was roughly around this area, but you're not understanding that you're going long into a key supply area, which seller stepped in very heavy. So that being said, you can see, right, going into the end of the day, and honestly, I got to give credit when credit is due. This is an amazing V-shaped recovery here on the intraday on SPY and Qs. I mean, that's insane. We pushed all the way down, right? Filled the gap, which is wild, and then we got back above not only the previous day high, broke the range, and also above our 740. So we know, what are we looking for tomorrow? So we're not at the clear just yet. Just yet. I love to see, right, resistance become support and vice versa. And you can see it was resistance, and then we turn this into support here, and we're just basing above it going in the market close. So that was amazing. But we're not in the clear yet. What do I mean by that? We can very much so just do that. We could very much so just, hey, get a break and retest under 740 and see a downside here. So we won't know until we know. But what am I looking for? Well, I would like for us to hold here, get a move higher. Why? Turn this channel into support. Hopefully we can gap up a little bit after hours pre-market, and then that way coming into the session, we can look for a pullback long off of 740, dip and rip, same difference there. So that's the game plan going into tomorrow. But the same thing as today, roughly is 740 is going to be our key level to watch here, right? Either we get a pullback long or a break and retest, at open tomorrow. Or, it was a peak and fell. We broke above, right? Took out all these orders, finally swept that liquidity, and then we can see our way back down to the bottom of the range. But 740 is going to be our key level. QQQ. So if you showed up today and you were watching the overall market, you knew that SPY had a lot of relative strength compared to Qs. We were even able to identify that pre-market. But you can see Qs is still stuck in this channel. And Qs today did its job. We pulled back to 704. Buyer stepped up. On Friday, buyer stepped up. On Thursday, buyer stepped up. And on Wednesday, buyer stepped up. So 704, I mean, what a level. What a level. A very strong demand level here. We pushed all the way down into 704 today, filled that gap, and then we made ourselves we pushed ourselves way back up to the top of the range here. So what are we looking for here tomorrow on Qs? Well, break and retest over 726. There's a lot of confluences setting up here. What do I like about Qs tomorrow? You're over the previous day high. It's a range break. It's a trade off a daily level. The higher the time frame, the stronger the level. It's a key supply area. You can see a key resistance level here being highly respected. So that's what I like tomorrow going into Qs. Like I said, we got to be a little cautious like we were on SPY because Qs could just do this. Why not? All you got to do is look at this day. It's already done it, right? And look at the day before that. So we got a very nice strong push at the bottom of the range, up into the top of the range, and we made ourselves way back down to the bottom of the range here on Qs. So we are pushing up into a very key supply area here on the Qs. So I would definitely be cautious, trading this tomorrow. Of course, wait for proper displacement, see if we can turn this into support and get that move higher on QQQ. So 726 is going to be the key level to watch. If you see a pop and fade, or you see a break and retest above it. But that's going to be our key level there. IWM. Let's go here. Really nothing here on IWM today. It had a very nice little peak and fell here under 296, but you can see just still sitting in a range. Very bullish here on the higher time frame. So you're really just looking for longs over 300. Not too much to cover there. Very strong last 2 days here on Tesla, right? Very nice, beautiful trendy day on Friday, followed up on Monday with a very nice trendy day. I was actually watching Tesla today. It had relative strength compared to the overall market at open, and clearly you can see just was not able to find an entry. So ended up taking an order block entry on SPY instead. But nevertheless, very, very strong day. Very strong day. If you zoom out here on the daily, right, I talked about this. You got this, we did break this trend line break here on Qs. Very nice. So we'll see. We'll see. When in doubt, zoom out. Let's zoom in here on 416. And this is a strong level here on the Qs. I'm sorry, on Tesla. This is a very, very strong level. All you got to do is look left. Today we pushed up. You can see every time, we push up into this 416 area, heavy sellers step in and push this thing right back down. It's happened here, it's happened here, it's happened here. So be very, very cautious tomorrow. If you're looking for a break and retest over that previous day high, just know you're going long into a key supply area on the weekly time frame, which is 416. So you can see once was support, you got the break here, you got the retest here, and then it's been holding as resistance every since then. So 416, that's the key level to watch here. Be very, very careful here. If you zoom out just a little bit, you can see we're back in this general area, right? Tesla really hasn't been the prettiest this year thus far. It's still red on the overall year. Keep that in mind. But just a lot of consolidating, a lot of sideways sitting here on Tesla. Besides the first quarter when we were really just sitting, or I'm sorry, trending to the downside. Even then, wasn't the best price action. I'd be a little careful here. Just in between this 416 and 395. But we know Tesla, right? When Tesla goes, it goes. It was just at 368, and now we're sitting at 411, 80, 85. So 416, that's the key level to watch. Either we're going to get, a pop and fade off of that, or we're going to get a break and retest above it. So we did break a trend line today, which is pretty solid. So that's going to be the main focus going into tomorrow, 416 on Tesla. If you zoom in here, 15-minute, all you got to do is look left. On the 22nd of this month, we pushed up. The highest we got was 414.75, and then heavy sellers pushed us all the way down to 367. So very nice recovery here on Tesla. Let's see, what do we do at 416? We won't know until we know. NVIDIA, really not the best looking today. Pretty funny though, it did its job technically. It swept the previous day high, we rejected, it swept the previous day low, right? Swept those orders, got back above the previous day low, pushed all the way back up to the top of the range, it filled the gap. So it did its job today, just not the cleanest. You can see NVIDIA is pretty much just consolidating a little bit in this general area. So a lot of sideways actions there on NVIDIA. So you'll just be looking for, 195 to turn into support. You can see got respected very nicely here today. It got respected very nicely here on Friday. So solid level here on NVIDIA. It's a higher time frame key level. It's a weekly level. So I would definitely pay attention to that. Can we reclaim this? Right, that's a big deal. So I'll be looking for the break and retest over 195 here on NVIDIA. I would say the last 2 days for sure definitely acted as resistance. The day before Friday, so last Thursday, wasn't the cleanest. But you can see, right, we're just sitting sideways. So it's not going to be really the cleanest price action, but it's setting up here. I would definitely love a break and retest over 195. That looks really good to the upside. And then as for our sides, so Apple, I was looking at Apple today. Apple has some relative strength here pre-market, as you can see here, right? Very nice relative strength, but that ended up just being a nice peak and fell over the previous day high, and today was just an anti-bar day, so really not much on Apple. You can see we pushed up into our key level, 287, rejected. We held 281, so pretty neutral here on Apple, to be honest. At least I am. If you watched the weekly outlook and you came into today, you knew this was the break. Can't make this up. Break, retest. That's all that was. It was just a break and retest of 287. So that being said, I like where Apple is sitting. Just let your trade come to you. Break and retest over 287 upside, break and retest under 281 downside. Very simple there. Amazon. So Amazon had a lot of relative strength today. A lot. I mean, you can clearly see. I was looking at Amazon as well as a side watch. I just could not get an entry on this name. You can see we broke our key level, 236. Never got a retest. Maybe here that would have been a very aggressive entry. Not really an entry I would be, that aggressive on a name like Amazon. But to each their own. So what are you looking for here on Amazon? Well, this is a range break over 250. Let's zoom out here. You can clearly see that. So there's no surprise. We pushed up into 250. We rejected. All you got to do is look left, and you can see this is a very strong key supply area here on Amazon. Every time price pushes up into 250, sellers step in and reject it. So today should be a great indicator to show you that, hey, sellers are still sitting here very, very aggressively. So I would love to see 250 turn into support. But what do you notice here on Amazon? We're pretty much just in this general range here. We're in this general range. So, there's a couple of ways you can go about it. I do have a pullback long here labeled out under 236. Well, why is that? On the daily time frame, this was a very big breakout displacement candle. You would want to see it turn into support. It's still a good RR trade. You're getting in at the bottom of the range before you get back to the top of the range. Or what you can do is just wait for the range break in general. So, right, you got your resistance, support, just look for a break and retest over 250 and a break and retest back under 236. And that way you're just not trading in that range, in that channel. So to each their own, however you want to go about it. But 250 and 236 is going to be your key levels. I do love where Amazon is sitting. I have been watching this name really closely, just waiting for my shot. And when my shot sets up, I will take it. But 236, I mean, look left. This is a very strong level. Look at that. Very strong level, being very well respected. We broke under, we turned it into resistance here. So you can see 250, just look left, very strong resistance level. So I love where Amazon is sitting. Like I said, one of my favorite plays is consolidations, right? I do like when, sometimes when names are sitting in a range, in a channel, it's just a lot of built up liquidity, and you just sit on your hands and literally wait for your trade to come to you. So the cons to that is you may wait a while, but we get paid for our patience. We don't get paid just to take trades. So be patient, wait for the range break here. It's a range break on the weekly time frame, higher probability shot. I love it. Hood, really not much here on Hood. Go watch that weekly outlook from 2 weeks ago. I called this, right? Break and retest on the weekly time frame. If you were able to catch this, kudos to you. We broke the channel. You got the breakout. On the weekly time frame, you got the retest on the weekly time frame, and look at us now making our way back up towards 109. Break and retest. How do we know that this move was real? We broke the range and we turned it into support. That's very beautiful. That's literally textbook. We talked about this leading up to it and when it happened. So kudos to you if you're able to catch that. This is just old resistance becoming new support. So what are you looking for here now? Really the main long was down here. So of course you can look for your break and retest over the previous day high. The next higher time frame key level is going to be just 109. Break and retest above that, you got a clear shot towards this year's high. Very nice V-shaped recovery setting up here. On hood, we've already recovered more than 50%. We were already under 69 here, so we're already back at 101. Very, very solid here. So hood is making its way back up slowly but surely. So I would keep an eye out there on it. You can see here, beautiful, right? Break, retest, we got back over 95. Beautiful, and now we're making our way back up. So you can look for a break and retest now over the previous day high, because the context behind it is you're looking for that move back to the top of the range after already reclaimed and held the bottom of the range. Hope that makes sense. Google. So Google hasn't been that hot, but another name that is just in a range, as you can see. Today, right, you can see we had a nice little peak and fell. There's sellers sitting up here at this 351. You can see 1, 2, 3, very nice. So what are you looking for here on Google? Let's see if we can turn 351 into support. Last Friday, we were at the bottom of the range. Now we're at the top of the range. Very simple there. So, if heavy selling pressure comes up at 351, can't be surprised. Those are range conditions. So let's see if we can get a break and retest above 351, turn that into support, and you can see that next move higher. Very nice RR trade setup here on Google if that sets up. Palantir, we talked about this. You ended up getting the break on the daily off of 119. You got the break. What were you waiting for? The retest today was a nice pop and fade off of 119. This is a very bearish name on the weekly, on the daily. So you don't want to counter trend trade. That was a beautiful setup today. If you're able to catch that, just a beautiful pop and fade. That was so nice. So what are you looking for? Maybe you can get a break and retest under that previous day low, looking for that continuation lower down to 109. Your next key level here is going to be 109. You can look for a short under that if or when that does set up. You can look for a long over 119. There is no right or wrong way to trade. We know that. So you can definitely look for that long opportunity. It's a good confluence. It's a daily level. You'll be above the previous day high. Hey, if it sets up, it sets up. So I would definitely look for that if the price action is there. Microsoft, I really don't trade Microsoft much. It's a name that I focus on regarding individual stocks around earnings, but I still break this name down. You can see clearly in a downtrend. One of the weakest names, one of the weakest tech names, I should say. So, sitting in a range, 365, 381. Just let your trade come to you. You can look for a long over 381. Preferably, I would look for a short under 365. Like I just showed you, it's in a very strong downtrend. It's a very weak name. Until we break structure on the higher time frame, then I will look for some long opportunities. There's some better names out there to long if I really want to go long on a name. So Microsoft, higher probability shot, at least for me, is looking for downside continuation. So a break and retest under 365, you can definitely see 355 here on Microsoft. Like I said, no right or wrong way to trade. If you can get a nice break and retest above 381, the price action strong, you're over the previous day high, it's a range break, it's over a weekly level. Those are a lot of confluences to take your shot if it sets up. So, but right, 381 and 365 are going to be your key levels to watch. AMD, another name that's just stuck in a range. So what are you going to do? Just let your trade come to you. If you watched that live trading session today, really great lesson on just the importance of supply and demand, avoiding fake outs, all that good stuff. And you can see we're just holding this general area here, and we're holding this general area here. So what does this look like? Well, it looks like a range to me. Today we held the bottom of the range, very strong demand. Buyer stepped up, pushed it back to the top of the range. On Thursday, we pushed into the supply area. Seller stepped up and pushed it back down to the bottom of the range. So you're just looking for a range break to either side here on AMD, a name I haven't traded in a very long time. Like I said, contracts are crazy right now, so there's better names to trade. But for those who do trade it, 547, 500. Intel, very bullish here. Not the best today, but crazy. Pretty much just followed the market here. Look at that. Just a wild V-shaped recovery. That's insane, right? We went from, being under 128, pushed down to 118. You got a break and retest back above 128, broke back above the high day. And let's see, we even got above the previous day high. So what a crazy, crazy day here on Intel. Buyers stepped up very heavy at 118. You can see on the 15-minute time frame, we've only had one down close candle, pretty much going into market close. So insane. So what are you looking for, right? You can look for a pullback long off of 128, break and retest above the previous day high if you want, or a break and retest over this 136. Just keep in mind you'll be sitting at blue sky territory since it's pretty much all-time highs. SpaceX, you ended up getting later into the session, break and retest above the previous day high. A name I really haven't been touching too much. It's just been consolidating, right? You can see here. Let me draw this out. Right, just consolidating right now. So around this general 163, right, you can look for a level there. Like I said, a name I really haven't traded too much. It's still fairly new. I'm just giving it time to play out, see what sets up, see how the price action is on a daily basis, see what the average dollar amount is on the daily basis. So even though I'm not trading it, I'm just sitting on my hands gathering data and seeing if it's worth trading. Based on the option contracts, spreads seem tight, liquidity seems good, obviously the volume. But as you can see, really since the big IPO day, been in a downtrend, and ever since the downtrend, it's just been consolidating for about a solid trading week here. So really not too much, at least for me, on SpaceX. You can look. I mean, it's something setting up. You can definitely look for it, right? You can definitely look for this range break and retest over the previous day high. Really nothing in this way. Back up to the top of the range. You can target some old highs here. Unmitigated liquidity. I mean, it's plenty of ways you can go about it. So I would definitely watch, previous day high. See if you can get a break and retest above that. It is a range break, so that looks pretty solid. So keep an eye out on that tomorrow on SpaceX. I hope this helps. I will see you guys on